This episode is sponsored by Ridgeline.
Right, welcome to another episode of Off the Job. Today we have a very special guest. That's my catchphrase, that is now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Calls everyone special.
Yeah.
I've been called special.
He's the most special one.
Yeah.
We've got Ryan O'Sullivan from the Rye Group, innit?
Yeah, so originally it was called Rye Gas, but now we're called Rye Group mainly because everyone just thought we sold gas, basically.
Or gas bottles.
People
You know,
phoning
like
up,
the calories,
we're in a camper. We need some,
Seriously,
some bottles,
yeah,
really.
that's what people thought. Yeah, so yeah, had to switch it up. We do electrics, building, plumbing, heating, drainage, bathrooms, kitchens, plastering, tiling.
Have you always been in trade since you left school?
Yeah, so 38 now. When I was 16, 17, was sort of on my way to, thought I was going to maybe make it in football, got released, fell flat on my ass. But after sort of school and stuff, where I went to school, going back to you saying I'm special, yeah, I do have special, not requirements, needs or whatever, but no, all jokes aside, at school, I kind of struggled with stuff. So using my hands was always, how do I say this, right? I'm not academic, like I was saying to you, like obviously with your apps and stuff, I don't concentrate very well. It's hard to probably get an email out of me. I'm sort of pick up the phone and talk to people. So yeah, done carpentry first, and then gas with British Gas up the road from here. Done a lot of training at Dartford.
How long
British
was you
Gas
with them
and that.
for?
Not very long. I started in there in 2000 and I think 4, I want to say. And then I want to say Rye Gas as a sole trader. I want to know this date, right? But I think it was 2008 in April. So, but yeah, and then I've done night college a lot for electrics. So I've done 4 years at night college, but
you was keen, weren't you?
I know I am keen, man. I've done commercial gas now. I've done the air source and ground source heat pumps. I love it.
You've done
man.
electrics first, did you?
Carpentry first,
Okay, carpentry. Yeah.
then gas, then electrics, and still trying to learn, man.
Gas engineers got to do it all anyway.
Everyone seems to be trying to still learn these days. Like we just spoke about air source and all that, but everyone is constantly trying to update their skills, isn't they? And like they're trying to learn and get more qualified, But that's the way the industries are going, isn't it? You've now got to renew stuff so much as well lately. Do you know what I mean? Have you noticed that? Like,
I mean, I don't know. Knowledge is power, isn't it, man? You need to know what you're doing in this industry.
But I feel like some people, like if you've been doing something a long time, like my mate was NIC, and they turned around to him and said after 20 years, he's got to retake, I think they do 18th, 19th editions and all that.
Yeah.
But you're going to make somebody pay out, like somebody who's an old boy or whatever, a granddad in or whatever, you're going to make him take 800 quid out of his pocket to do a 3-day course just to say you can do what you was already doing.
Yeah, I know electricians have a lot of...
They got it hard, electricians.
Have they though?
I think they have.
Because gas, you have to go back every 5 years.
Yeah, you have to, but the electricians are more heavily counselled than us. They are.
Oh, they are checked up.
Do you know what? I don't know. Both of but so for gas, technically, you are as well, right? I don't know. That's a. Are we allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, man, fuck it.
That's a fucking big debate there, man, isn't it? Like the gas engineers and electricians, they're fucking.
Listen, I hate electricians, but I don't hate them. But
that's why I go. I sit on the fence, man. But both of them are both.
What are you?
We have banter, but they've got to be regulated, like and checked. Like when you have your gas safe. You go out and they might do a random check on you every so many years, do you know what I mean? As where electricians, right, they might be getting a bit more now, but it used to be, you used to go out of gas school, you'd do like you go on your 6-month probation or you go on a probation period and then they check you. And then you wouldn't hear from them ever again. You just renew your gas, you wouldn't ever hear from them. And then one time they might find out and go, oh, we're going to check you. And that's it. Where electricians, every year is they've got to be checked and shown jobs.
Not necessarily, right? So gas engineers, like let's say in my business, right, every gas engineer has to sign off their own work, right?
Yeah,
Whereas with, and this is one thing with the electrical industry, I don't fully get, right? But you have a QS who's like in charge and can be in charge of a load of sparks, right? And they can all technically work under him and then not have the qualification. Like I'm 17th edition. Yeah, I'm going to go back in August and do my 18th edition and get my testing and inspecting. But it's really and truly, I've never really needed it because it's always been, not that I'm on the tools anyway, although I'd like to be, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, with electrics, I don't know if it is regulated as much as gas, or maybe sometimes the electrical industry is just a bit overcomplicated. Let's say like they'll always do an amendment. I don't know. Whereas I think gas is quite a clean cut industry. You're either gas safe registered or you're not.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, but I think like you're saying, there's throughout the industries, it's like off tech, innit? You ain't got to be off tech to actually fit an oil boiler. Have you?
Do you know what? I don't know much about.
You're not
I need. Do you know what? My farm, has got oil, so I need to
Just
probably.
I
don't want to pay the oil
Just
engineer.
learn it, mate, and you think your own one. Do you know, like, to sell it, you might have to get it signed off, but you can fill out your own certificate, a qualified installer, and then sign your ticket. But then, obviously, if you was to sell the place, then you get it like commissioned or looked at by a proper off tech guy, and they issue the cert. But electricians, you can wire an house, can't you, without having to have a qual, and then somebody can come in and bloody well sign it off.
Yeah,
as far as I'm aware. Do you know?
Electrics is a tough one, man. Like.
I might be wrong on that one, guys.
You can go and do a quick course and become a domestic installer, say, and then...
Well, it used to be Part P, didn't it? You used to have that Part P thing. That really rubbed electricians up the wrong way. That's what I'm saying,
yeah. Yeah, so it's... that's what I'm saying with gas, for instance. You've got, all your appliances. So, I don't know, have you guys ever done warm air or got your own warm air or anything?
No, fuck that. I never thought of doing warm air. I didn't want to do warm air. That scares the shit out of a lot of people, warm air, doesn't it? Like the newer generation of gas engineer, I'd say, as opposed to the older generation. But my mate, he was on the gas, but he used to hate doing warm air.
Right, British Gas.
Yeah,
that's why I've still got it, just because I started with it, so I sort of kept it up.
But I've never actually worked on a warm air unit.
We've ripped one out actually today, but it's got loads of asbestos in there, so they're not good. They're not good appliances. But actually, this customer showed some other like HIU unit that can now retrofit into a warm air unit system. Yeah, it looked quite good, but it's quite expensive to buy. And when I looked at how much labour it would have been to go in there, full central heating was a better option.
So you said in so I'm trading the subject here a bit.
Go on.
But yeah, you said in school you sort of struggled with a few things. Did that affect you in any way, like in the trade?
What school did you go to?
Wimbledon College. Sounds like a college, but yes.
Did that force you go into trades, or did you want to do something else, or how did that affect you in the? Like...
I don't know. Listen, that's a whole other story again. Like the school system, for me, it failed me, or did I fail the school system? One or the other, right? But I don't know. I think with the school system, not everyone learns in the same way. Not everyone can have one person, stand up in the front of the class and be able to listen in. I was more watching what the other lads were doing, it was lads because it was a boys' school. But I didn't do very well at school at all. Struggled to concentrate.
Yeah, that's what I was like, and I feel that that type of personality ends up going on to have their own business. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, the school system, does it teach people to become an entrepreneur or a business owner, or does it teach you to become an employee?
Yeah, it teaches you more to become
an employee, but
yes, it does.
I always say it's either in you or it isn't to go and start your own business. If your mindset's that way, you're gonna try and do it.
It teaches you just to conform, doesn't it? School.
Well, young kids, they say you got a bit at this time, you take your break at this time, sit down, shut up, listen. Yeah, like it's. Don't know. For me, I don't think it's changed for like 100 or 200 odd years. Where
it's very regimented, isn't it?
Yeah.
School,
Have you always been that type? Would you say to start your own business?
Yes and no. Definitely when I was younger, before I become a dad. But now that I've realised time is so important, right? I lost my mum 3 years ago, and that was a massive fucking head game and stuff for myself, and then juggling that, and then my dad's disabled, so I was looking after him, and then business, blah 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 blah, and then the last 5 years with COVID and everything else, like navigating a business through so many scenarios, is it worth it? Right. And I think the thing is with it, you have to be in the right stage in your life to start a business, because it's not 8 till 5, it's 24/7, 365. You're moaning when you're busy, you're moaning when you're quiet, there's no equilibrium when you're probably happy, or if it is, it's for a short amount of time, and then you've got no work, or you've got too much work. But I would work for someone else. And I was having this conversation the other day. I've got no problem with authority. I've got no problem with, leadership. The only thing that I would never be able to do is I would never be able to work for someone or under someone if I could do what they could do. So as long as they can do something that I don't have the skill set for, then amazing. I know my strengths. I play to my strengths. My weaknesses I delegate out. So I'm definitely, I used to think I was unemployable, but I do think I am, as I'm getting older.
It depends on your goals and and your ambitions, because if you want to I'm not saying you can't do well working for someone, but if you have big goals like financially, and it don't mean you want everything materialistically, sometimes you just want to be secure, so you haven't got to worry about money.
That's the thing. If I didn't have kids, I wouldn't have a problem working for anyone. Do you know what I mean?
Sponsor break room time.
Ridgeline do their own flexi connectors too, stainless steel, none of that rubber.
Oh yeah, the ones that are always like weeping behind the sink and somehow it's your fault.
These ones are all metal, 316L, again, same as their pipe, built to last.
So there's no more of that, a bit old. It's just like fit it and forget about it.
Nice.
Cheers to Ridgeline.
And kids cost money, right? Let's face it. That's the thing is with working for people. Sometimes there's only so much you can earn, and that isn't because maybe working for someone's a problem. It's the same thing again. It's 8 till 5 or whatever. Whereas
it's freedom, isn't it? As well. At least you're in control. The thing is though, that you can slip into that one where you are too. I'm my own boss and I can do what I want, and then you slip out of actually doing, like having that zest for actually working to earn money. Do you know what I mean?
And that's where it comes to. I think working for yourself, if your outgoings are low, then you don't need to do that many hours because you can be comfortable enough to be able to live, right? And I think that's the main thing about life is you have to live. And then everyone says, live within your means. If you've got a mortgage that's $4,000 a month and you're employed on $3,500 a month, you're obviously you need to go and do something else, and then you can either go and do a side hustle, which I've seen loads of people do, but then at what point does your side hustle become your main hustle? They always clash with one another. When I started out on my own, I was pissed off because of football, because someone was in charge of my destiny, right? And then when an opinion basically got, said blah, 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 basically got left out for dead. And then that's when I was like, well, I'm only going to really be able to work for myself. But I didn't probably know that at the time, but subconsciously I probably knew it, right? But British Gas, going back to British Gas was a really, really good company to work for. The only thing with British Gas, the money was good. For the age I was on, the overtime was really good. So I managed to buy a flat out of British Gas. It got me on the property ladder. However, I was too hungry to learn. I genuinely do really enjoy the industry. That's why I still kind of would love to be on the tools. But then I've been saying it for 10 years.
Yeah.
If I'd done 3 months on it, I'd probably then have my fix and go, get me back running around like a headless chicken, But yeah, British Gas, I just felt a bit pigeonholed there. I was fitting boilers fixing boilers, doing repairs and that. I didn't know how to fit a boiler because the course that I'd done was just a breakdown course. So I always wanted to know a bit more. I'm not a plumber really. I just sort of picked up plumbing via being a gas engineer, which was. But you know what, when I was in that British Gas, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, honestly.
None of us do.
Is that a combi? How many pipes is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
None
I
of
think
us
it's
knew.
good to learn the breakdown side first.
Do you know what? I
Installs
think
is
the
a lot
other way
less to learn.
around.
Oh, well,
Breakdowns is so much you need to know. Install you can learn after a
always-
couple of installs.
Well, we always said, like, because I was an installer background, I've always been an installer background, and then when I went on my own, I had to learn breakdown. But we always said, me and my mates was like, it's a different game. It's a different trade altogether.
Yeah.
Like breakdown and maintenance is a different game to install. And it's funny because you say that, like, because one of my pals who was on British Gas was a breakdown engineer. Yeah, he was breakdown, and when he came to install, it was like he got him on a job with him, and I was like, wow, he's
Got graft.
he's taking his time here, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
I think install's better to learn because genuinely, when I was at British Gas, I didn't know what some of the pipes done inside the airing cupboard. I knew inside the boiler.
Yeah,
I knew
at
a
first it's
multimeter.
confusing, isn't it?
Yeah. So I definitely think, you know, if I've had some really good apprentices, I've had some really bad apprentices, but the ones that did do really well, like focused in college and learnt system design. So by the time they did get through their level 3 plumbing and heating or whatever, and they went on to gas, they kind of knew so much already. So then if the boiler was, you know, overheating, they would know if it was, you know, like blocked, or, you know, if, you know, there was, blocked. You put me in a spot like, what happens when the boiler overheats? Or the pump has gone or whatever. But yeah, but breakdowns, don't know, man, like, I didn't really know much when I was just doing breakdowns.
No, but that's the thing, innit? Learning on the job, innit? You do. It's
Oh,
like
when you do
anything,
it, you
innit?
just
Like
call the
anything-
manufacturer.
If
They
you-
take you through the test.
If you went into a college,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're doing in college. As soon as you come out of college, you still don't know what you're doing, do you? Do you know what I mean? So you have to learn on the job. And this is the thing when I see things, right? Because when I see people they're going on like social media and they're going, look at this job, this has been done by a cowboy. I think, well, maybe it weren't. Maybe it was done by somebody who's just green, and they've just come out of college and they've made some basic errors that anyone would make, but it's going to happen, isn't it? You're going to make mistakes.
It's like learner drivers. You see a learner driver, and you're like,
yeah.
we all were there once,
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah. So not everybody who comes out, not everybody who gets like it wrong is trying to rip anyone off. They've just like
The first boiler I fitted, mate, was an absolute disaster.
yeah, that'd be a good story.
Yeah. So I was a kid at the time. It was my ex-girlfriend's mum and dad's house. There was one of their rental properties, and they were like, "Oh, Ryan, you know, we need a boiler fitted. Do you want to do it?" Nice of them to ask me, but I was just into British Gas, right? So I didn't know how to solder or anything like that. Plus, I didn't get taught that on my British Gas apprenticeship. So, anyways, there was this fella. And at British Gas back in the day, there used to be a thing called SFL, right, which was like, I want to say Service Force Limited or something. And they were like not fully leveled up engineers. They were like older people that have come from other backgrounds of life so they weren't apprentices. They were kind of improvers or whatever. They'd done a different course to what we were on. But this guy, I was like, I don't know, 18, 17. And this guy was like 27, 28. So I looked at him thinking, well, he knows what he's doing because he's older.
Yeah.
So in the, actually, weirdly, it was outside AFC Wimbledon's new ground. It used to be Wimbledon Dog Track, yeah? And there was a burger van there, and we used to all go there for lunch, for a 5-hour lunch. Yeah. They were the days before trackers. And basically I was like, I've got this job, do you want to do it? And he said, yeah, it's $2,000. He bought a biassy boiler from B&Q, which was like 300 and something quid. So I'm going out of breath, I'm trying to speak too fast. Anyways, so to cut a long story short, he took £1,000 up front, went round there. It was a servo warm boiler that come out, the one behind the radiator. Do you know them? Have you seen them?
Behind the radiator? I have seen it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've only literally seen one or two in my time. So we pulled that out, and I wanted to work with him for the experience. I wasn't getting paid or anything. And ripped the boiler out, ripped out the cylinder, left for the day. The tenants were on holiday. It was Christmas, and they were Thai, so they went back to Thailand for it. Mate, he just fucked off. Just disappeared. And I'm like embarrassed now,
shit.
like saying, you know, what do I do? Like, this guy, I'm going to have to see him anyway, like, at British Gas. And anyway, he just, like, ran to the hills. So, couldn't get hold of him. So in the end, I just went and, like, finished it, right?
Did he take the scrap?
Yeah, he took the scrap, yeah.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he took the scrap,
that's what
man.
it was about, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was the scrap.
yeah.
He got the scrap, yeah.
Yeah, I used to love taking the scrap, man. Yeah, but yeah, he took the scrap and he took the piss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he literally just ran. So I ended up fitting this boiler. It lasted about 10 years, and I bought all this stuff from Wix, and I literally fitted a combi out of compression fittings, and it kept on dripping. I kept on tightening it. So, but then on Christmas Eve, I finally got it up and running, and then fucking water pissed out upstairs somewhere. It was like a communal heating system, and I didn't cap the open vent, but I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And my mate's dad come round on Christmas Eve and basically fixed it. So in the end, his mum actually worked for British Gas, and I had to tell his mum what he'd done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got the money back.
It's a mad story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when he was young. My mate, when
nightmare.
when he first passed out on a gas safe, or went out on his own, because he became corgi at first, but then he went out on his own, and he said, I had this job. He goes, it was literally take a combi out, put a combi in, right? And on the day he done it, so he think the combi wouldn't work, so he's phoned up the boiler manufacturer, and he's gone, I've got a problem, can you come out? It's like first turn it on. Bloke's walked in, he's gone, mate. He's gone, you can't put that there. He went, why
Can't
not?
put that there.
He went, why not? He went, it's above a bath, mate. So the old boiler wasn't obviously to regs, and he's just taken it out, put it in above a fucking. He went, mate. He said, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, you can't have that. And he's gone, I don't know. I just thought, like, do you know what I mean? Like, because mate, he didn't grass him up. He said, move it. He goes, come back and then I'll repair it. He goes, but you can't have it like fucking that. But he's like just green. Really, should he have known? Probably, yeah. But we don't always take.
But what you learn in a classroom though is
it's different, isn't it?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? To
experience, man.
But I mean, common sense might have said he's over a bath. But sometimes when you see something that's already been in, that's been there for years, you know, the regs change, etc., etc. And yeah, but. I remember one of my boilers I put in this 40 kilowatt fucking titanium. I put it in a fucking loft extension because I thought, oh, it needs a lot of hot water. Do you know what I mean? And I run that fucker. That was running 22 mil pipe all the way through the house. And thinking back on it, when I did my tests on it, it weren't right, mate. It weren't running. Like, what can I do? Like, I can't rip out their whole house and that. That's still probably going. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, the condensing boilers, man. Imagine fitting boilers before they come out. That would have been a doddle, man.
Yeah, do you know?
Don't worry about the gas update, innit? They're all on 15 mil.
Most of the boilers, like, you're talking like, in real, I see people shutting down boilers from them not working at the right gas pressures, yeah? But really common sense should prevail. Like, yeah, you've got to drop from here to here. You're not going to really cut it off. It's been working 15 years. The reason you had like low pressure, like you pull low pressure, was because of the flame lift on the old boilers, wasn't it? When there was it zero pressure governors or whatever.
Yeah,
but now it's not like that.
Condensing boilers
do you know what I mean?
isn't it?
It's not really like that. A lot of boiler manuals will say our product will work. Valent used to say 13.5 millibar working pressure.
That's why technical helplines are the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as long as you normally speak to them with respect, they kind of do want to help, right?
Yeah, some of them are a little bit arrogant.
Yeah, you get the odd person that don't want to speak to you.
A little bit, and there are certain boiler companies out there that had that reputation with certain people on the end of the phones, as if like you're asking them a question.
Some will ask for your gas save number, some won't.
Well, no, they'll all ask for your gas safe number, but some of them are talking to you as if you should know it and why you're ringing the technical help.
Do you know what? I don't mind that. So it's like when I was like 19 or 18, whatever, ringing up for technical help, I always knew that then, you know, that was like by them talking to me, like, you should know this. That gave me fire in my bellies, but I should know this.
Yeah.
So then I'd retain the information more, you know?
Yeah. I tell you what, Valent, and I know I said I fit Valent, but I didn't used to fit Valent, but the technical helpline is extremely good. Extremely good. They've talked me through things. They've been on the phone to me for half hour before, sort of thing, while I had to rejig a gas valve, and on those other valents, those are not brand new ones, but they're slightly out. I can't remember what ones they are. Ecotech Pluses. If you can get situations on them where they won't run at full rate because of the flue gas ratios. The flue gas ratios only have to be slightly out and they won't run up. And it can take you half an hour or so to reset that gas valve. Mate, he stayed on the phone with me the whole way through, telling me, right, leave it there, do that. And I've got to say, some although they are expensive, Phelan, the customer service is pretty good.
The thing is, though, some of these technical helplines, they make you call like an 0845 number.
Oh, yeah, it cost me $8,000. No.
Honestly, it happens, man. Not so much anymore. So I remember going onto Google and you'd be like, I want to say it's not 0800 reverse, but it would be like 0800 free number or something. You'd then like Google a number and they'd give you the landline.
Yeah.
Because I remember like running up phone bills, man. Sometimes you have to say to the customer, hey,
Yeah.
I'm ringing up telling you, but you're paying, no, I'm joking, you're paying a £12 phone bill. Good days, man.
So how long's Ride Group been going? Sort of what's...
So 2008, I want to say I become a sole trader. And then weirdly, I was in my Axe and we were just talking about, you know, being a sole trader or being limited or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then I realised how you have to protect your businesses these days, and that's why being limited is important. But yeah, on my own, yeah, what's that, 20...
Yeah, long time. What was your vision at the start?
18 years. Vision at the start, what was my vision? It's a good question.
Was you like...
Probably to earn money.
You never know at the start. It changes as you go along.
Probably to earn money, because I was young and hungry, had nothing really going on in my...
What age did you start?
The business?
Yeah.
20.
Oh, yeah, so young age.
Yeah, 20, yeah.
So you must have always thought you wanted to do your own thing, especially at that age if you're starting a business.
Do you know what? I don't know, man. Like, so I left British Gas, went to another company, and I'd done installation there. Just wanted to learn more. But I always knew from the school system, I was, you know, I do think knowledge is power. You know,
are you happy you started that age? If you was to go back, would you have started a bit later, or?
No, I was glad that I'd done it then. Like I say, I've got I've got a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and I've got a baby on the way, man. It's like now, I wouldn't say money's not important to me, but my time is important. So like, you know, when you're younger, you're sometimes, I was hungrier then, but then, you know what? Some people have children when they're young and then they can't do the graft because they've got to be home. So I've seen a lot of people, you know, start businesses at 40, 50 and some. So there's no time that's correct for everybody. But for me, you know, it was good. I think, you know, I hit it when it was quite a good thing. I think it's got harder recently. It's definitely got more aggressive. Pricing's definitely got tougher. I think the gas market has been hit pretty bad because you know, a lot of the press is quite negative about it, saying not to fit gas boilers and stuff, you know. Whereas when I started out, condensing boilers were pretty new. Yeah. Because I was Corgi registered, and you know that, I think condenser boilers was 2005. I think that came out, and that was like, you know, a SEDBUC rating, and it was energy efficient, A rated, blah 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 blah.
Mate, your own condense traps on them ones, didn't you?
So I don't know. I think, you know, but again, time to change. Like, so let's go back to software and stuff. I think now my mindset now is very much procedures now. Like the business is not a size now that I can do it the old way I would do it. You know, Ryan's old school method. Now it's got to be more structured. Software has to. We've already been on software for 11, 12 years, but the software now is. There's better ones coming out, you know, and even with software companies, they're battling each other. AI is obviously out. There's lots of companies out there that are aggressive at the minute, and they're going in very, very cheap. They're not, from some of the ones that are who I'm battling against as a business. They're not in London, you know, so their overheads are probably cheaper, and they're obviously subbing it out. They haven't got any full-time staff, so
what's been the challenges along the way growing it, sort of taking on staff? Has there been a point where you thought, sod this, I'm going?
Do you know, there has never been that point, and I mean that. Like, there's never been a thing that I'm not a quitter anyway, right? I can handle turbulence, and actually, when things do get tougher, it does make me stronger. It puts a fire in my belly. Some people, do well under pressure. Other people don't do well under pressure, But again, diamonds were formed under pressure. So, but again, if you don't want pressure in your life, you don't have to have it. And sometimes you want the pressure then, and other times you want to stand back, and that's also
people thrive off that sometimes.
Yeah. So the struggles for
challenges growing it.
Micromanagement. I think, like, from having one person to 2 people to 3 people to 4 to 5 to 10 to 20, it was hard, and it still is hard to let things go. Ultimately, Rye Group or Rye Gas is my baby, right? Although it's not anymore. It's like a hairy teenager.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that micromanagement has been tough. I would never say. That's been probably the toughest thing. Obviously, naturally, everyone would probably say finding the best people. That's been tough, I think. A lot of good people naturally work for themselves, right? But then at the same time, I've had good people leave me to go and work for themselves, but they've also then come back because they probably don't want all the drama after work. There's a very nice feeling about going to work and going home,
going to sleep and not worrying.
And let's face it, right? Plumbing and gas, you're looking over your shoulder the whole time, so it can be stressful. But going back to the school system, I don't believe in homework because I've always taken, as an adult, work home with me. So my children, I might change this as I get older and, understand it a bit more. But because the school system kind of, me and them didn't do well together, I kind of have a bit of a problem with.
Would you homeschool them?
Not clever enough to. No, I don't know. I don't think so because of the social aspect. But I do know if my kids' time gets taken for no reason, my kids are invoicing the school. Like 100%.
If you could get, if you could get someone in to teach.
I'm not joking either.
I love that.
If you could get someone to teach them, sort of like private tutor.
I mean, maybe. A guy recently, I've met him, a guy who I worked with before, and he's doing it. But then, I don't know, there's a lot to be said about socialising and the school system, and it teaches you all these life lessons that I think are important. I learned more in the playground than I did in the class.
They can still do that. They can still go to social settings. Like, you've got loads of clubs out there, haven't you? That you can do after school and...
Yeah, listen, I would like to do it. One thing I think as well, so my 3-year-old, if he hangs around with a 5 or 6 and 7-year-old, he changes. Yeah, he's like so much more grown up, listening more. I don't know whether children should be the same age in a classroom. Sometimes
the thing is, in the school, you can have it's not fair on the young kids because in the schools they could be almost a year out from and at that age there's a lot of development that goes on
100%.
and a lot of physical change and stuff like that. So the younger kids can be left far behind the kid who's at the front, who's born in September. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a weird one the way it works. But have we got boys or girls?
Boy, girl. Not sure. Next one, I'll find out soon.
Are you going to find out? Are you?
I thought that was a joke then. Like, you're not sure.
So what was it today? Was it today, June the 12th, is it? Well, no, we don't. Hang on a second. It's the 2nd of June.
Yeah, he's
2nd of June, yeah.
He's
flying,
he's
man.
Flying, Fred, yeah.
Always thinking ahead.
Yeah, trying to anyway. So I find out, in about a month.
What you want to find out? Is that you?
Is
it the missus
I
who wants
don't
to
really, I don't really mind like finding out or not finding out, but with the clothes and that, you kind of have to be prepared.
Yeah.
Or you just go neutral, didn't you?
Yellow.
Yeah. But the thing is, we have so many clothes that we can hand down, and mate, listen, when my first boy was born, I was buying them all the best clothes, yeah.
He's buying the dinky like.
My little
the
girl,
little
mate, she's literally
trainers.
just getting anything, man. Like, because you pay £30 for a pair of trainers, and then they wear them once, yeah. They normally lose the trainers in somewhere anyway, or it can't fit, it don't fit them, and then the next thing is they're too small for them.
The amount of shoes my kids got. I walked in one day, they sorted all the shoes out in the room. I've never seen so many shoes in one room in all my life.
And there's you with one pair of holes in it.
Yeah, literally.
What shoes have you got on right now?
Mate, I don't even know the name of them. What are they? What are they? Let's put it out there. These are.
Do you know where I started shopping?
Where?
These are a French mate called Médicieux. I know who they are.
I started shopping in M&S. These are about 30,
M&S is the one,
30,
man.
40 quid
Yeah,
from
I-
M&S. Just
yeah.
one
Yeah, look, I get
trainer.
pulled up with them,
brilliant.
wouldn't I? Then I tread on
Oh,
them.
mate.
Then I tread on them.
That's been some graft, mate. That's some steps
That's
there,
3
boy.
points, bruv, innit? I'm gonna get I just some of my rough shoes, they're my work shoes.
I wear boots everywhere. I've always wore like boots more than trainers. I'm not cool enough to wear trainers. You know, like some people can wear like I've seen like people go to weddings in suits and they have trainers on. I just can't pull that off, man.
I don't think you should pull trainers off of suits. I think it's shoes.
You can.
Some people can do it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool people.
I think I wear boots just in case we go out later and they go, no trainers.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, I wear shoes. I like wearing shoes with a suit. I like wearing a whistle.
Do you wear boots to work when you're on the tools?
No, I wear trainers. I wear these. Okay.
I think it's important to wear boots, man.
Me, mate. Health and safety.
What?
You're gonna die now.
This is, I think this is a good question. Is what point could you come off the tools? Because people are stuck in that place, aren't they? Where you got 2-3 engineers, where it's sort of not enough to really come off. Like what point
do you have to trust?
Yeah,
No,
not
so
the trust, but like
trust.
financially. Would you say there's a certain amount of engineers you need? It depends
You
how
have
much
to
you
trust as
charge,
well,
but like to come off the tools and earn enough money for yourself to earn off of them amount of people.
So in the early days, when I was like, say, when 17th edition electrics was like the current, say, and then there was boilers. Boilers were always the best money, right? It's like to fit a boiler. So what I used to try and do is I would get, say, a boiler in, pass the boiler installation to, like, let's say I had one guy to begin with, and then I would try and run around and do a few breakdowns to then pay for his day rate. Yeah. And then that's how in my brain, I'd be like, well, you know, I've basically made his money, but then really I probably could have just fitted the boiler and then earn the same money, right? But for me, I was always trying to do more to push further.
But then you, in doing that, you're then putting your face out there as the main face of your company to other prospective clients doing the smaller jobs. No, do you know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah.
You're the main face of the business, isn't you? So if you put him on a job like a boiler and then you're going around doing the other little bits, you might get a call out, you might get this. You are the face of the company. So you can then, you know, judge, dictate whatever way you want to do your business.
I think, you know, it's a hard, I'm trying to explain myself, but I'm probably not explaining myself very well, but I'm always time conscious, right? So like, if I'm somewhere for 8 hours, for me, that's a waste, not a waste of my time, but that's a long time that I'm pinned somewhere.
Yeah.
So for me to run around and do a few breakdowns, I covered his money, but then I gained some spare time. So that spare time, I would then price work, so go and do a few free estimates or whatever, maybe get some certificates done, like registering the boiler. So I'd always try and gain myself time. So the answer to your question, when is the right time to come off the tools, I think it's got to be profitable growth.
Yeah, it's got to be down to how much you're earning.
It has to be that, because you don't want to be a busy fool and you don't want to, you know, run around like a headless chicken. And unfortunately, we've all been guilty of being a busy fool. But then, you know, I don't know, you have to give yourself a certain amount of time to try something. Not everything happens straight away. Sometimes it takes a long time to push through the growing pains and stuff. And I've seen so many people quit too soon. You
Yeah,
know,
having a few engineers is tough, and
Yeah.
then you're running around doing the jobs as well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that area there, few engineers, you're still on the tools, you're invoicing quotes. It's very hard to like get to that next level, like a few more engineers where you can come off, and it's hard.
That's that thing where you was like you put your man on the job for 8 hours and you'd prefer to go do it. But you've already said you're not great at concentration, are you? So being on a job for 8 hours is probably not going to be as beneficial to you as like going
Exactly,
and
yeah.
varying
How many
it up.
engineers did you have when you come off the tools?
5, maybe.
It's probably a good number. If you're charging the right money, 5 is probably it's doable.
But listen, I mean, people have to be kind to themselves. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes people dig themselves out too much because they think that, you know, someone else is doing the right thing. And actually, so many times, you know, when you actually meet people that you think are doing one thing, they may not be doing that, you know? So I think there's no right or wrong answer, is there? Like, it either happens or it doesn't. You like, and if it happens naturally and organically, I think it's a good thing to be able to come off the tools. But staying on the tools is also good. You know, like I go to the gym in the mornings with a load of one-man bands, and I always say to them, it's a good thing to be a one-man band. Like, you
honestly, can earn good money if you've got the right customers.
Yeah, and you can then turn your phone off and have another mate of yours. If you go on holiday, mate, can you just look after my customers for a bit, you know?
You got engineers that don't turn up, and you got to rebook them jobs. And stressful.
I don't know what the for us as a business, we're only gonna get bigger. We have to. We've gone to that size now that, you know, we could probably be.
Is that your sort of goals to grow it?
Yeah.
More engineers.
Yeah. So 2019, before lockdown, we were doing a deal on a franchise. Hence where Rye came from. So this trademark was somewhere in Italy or something, not being used, and then we managed to acquire it. And we were going to start doing gold, bronze, silver franchises. You know, the gold might be a plumbing, heating, gas, and drainage franchise, and then silver might have been just plumbing, or plumbing and gas, and bronze and blah 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 blah. But I found it one of the things you asked me earlier, like about what was challenging, was trying to keep hold of people as well, because when they wanted more and we couldn't give them more, whether it was more money or more flexibility, that I found that quite personally tough, because I wanted to keep hold of some people that just physically couldn't, right? So for me, being able to work with people, there's no some people can't work 8 till 5 because they've got kids here, and then they need to pick up this.
Well, sorry, we had a guy come on. He owns a company called Custom Heat. I think he grew it to like 200, then engineers had to drop it down. Listen to that one; it's really good. But he's gone to a 4-day week.
In his company?
He tested it, and he's gone to a 4-day week, all his engineers.
Wow. Yeah.
Because what he said is, if you're on a job for 2 days, 3 days, they'll slow it down knowing they'd have an easy Friday. Whereas if you say to them, you can get the Friday off, they'll just get it done on that Thursday.
Are they unemployed, 200 people?
Most of them employed, yeah.
Wow.
He's dropped it.
To him.
Yeah.
Or her.
It was a good episode, that. It's quite...
Custom Heat, the company. It's up north somewhere. But yeah, he tested a 4-day week. He said it worked, so...
Yeah. But again, though, would that work in London? Like, because the thing is, on that 5th day, some people are, I'm working anyway. Like, they're going to probably end up doing their own thing. Yeah,
so Custom Heat, grew it to 200, had to drop down a little bit, but he solely relies... I think he does do social media, but a lot of his is like getting reviews. Yeah. He has a very smooth system of like someone going on his website and booking an engineer, and they can do it within a few minutes. So his process of sending an engineer out is very smooth. They've gone for like professional look, uniform, makeshift, all the bands.
Yeah, but same sort of like business model as you, because your missus works with you, doesn't she? She's your partner. Same as his missus works, doesn't she, with him?
I tell you, that's a fucking conversation starter, man. Working with your missus.
How do you find that then?
Hard, especially when she's better than you. Mate, she's technically sound as well.
She knows how to fit a combi, mate. You know
mate,
what I mean?
She's technically sound. She is fluent in like a lot of languages within the trade industry. No, she's good. But going about social media, like that's another one. Like it takes a lot of time, doesn't it? So, you know, business wise, it is a thing now that social media, you kind of need to do it right. But again, if you're doing really well on social media, sometimes then I feel like your business then doesn't do as well, and vice versa. It's about trying to split the time correctly, right?
Yeah. Where does your work mainly come from?
I think our vans locally where we are probably is good for brand awareness. I want to say word of mouth, but I don't know whether that's the truth. We naturally spend money on advertising, which never used to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like literally when I first started out, I spent 50 quid in a local paper, the Guardian or not the Metro, the Independent or something. And I thought that was expensive, man. Do you know what I mean? But now the costs now to get business through the door is a lot of money, man.
Some people are spending $2,000. I think it was either $2,000 a week or $2,000 a month on advertising.
Mate, that's nothing. We blitz that.
You spend a lot on ads.
Is it $2,000 a week?
How much you spend on
$2,000 would go out the window.
Is it $2,000 a week?
I don't mind sharing. I don't know the exact costs. Definitely north of 10 grand a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
North. Could be could be well north, could be North Pole.
But
mate.
it's like any business now. It's like a software business. People are spending thousands on ads on social. Like, it's the way you get work.
But it is and it isn't, because nowadays, you know, it's not like, for instance, if you go and spend £50 on bread, you know you're going to get an X amount of bread. Yeah. It's not like that with advertising. If you go and spend, you put £2,000 advert somewhere, you don't know if you're going to get that £2,000 back. It's a gamble.
Yeah, nice analogy, that. Yeah, I like that.
Where would you, if you're spending money on advertising, where would you put that if someone was to go into advertising a business? Like what?
All over, lots of different stuff, right? Like everyone's doing the same thing. But it's either going to be, you know, some sort of a review site, or it's going to be an ad. It's going to be like a lot of Google, or it's going to be Facebook or Instagram.
Do you run ads on socials yet, or?
We have done a little bit, but to be honest with you, we for that size business we are, our budget probably isn't that big on advertising. You know, like you have to spend a lot. What do they say? You got to speculate to accumulate.
I think Lincoln spends a lot on Google ads.
I think Google Ads is actually pretty good. I think the conversion rate is probably pretty good with Google. But the thing is, you know, you might do really well for 3-4 months, and then the algorithm or something changes, and then you're not on the top page and stuff. For instance, I don't know, man, sign printed vans. I think that's a good. It's not free advertising because it's going to cost you a couple of grand. But then other people don't like that, because then you're a target for tool theft, and you don't want people to know what you're doing. So there's no right or wrong way. I don't think you've got to find what works for you.
I mean, with regards to advertising, what about on like social media itself? Because you're getting about social media anyway, aren't you? So do you get any work directly from social media?
Yeah, we do, and we are a local company, right? So we don't travel very far. Like for our vans and stuff, the mileage is really low across the fleet because our jobs are really close together. So Rye Group's social media and let's say my social media are a bit different, right? So Rye Group don't really do that much on social media. It's more, I suppose, me doing my thing. And of course, they go hand in hand, because I still work full time for Rye Group, and I'm still out and about grafting. A lot of people would think you get to a certain size, like we're over 30 people, say, and we could be over 50 people, which I believe is a medium-sized business. But I'm hands on deck, man. Like the bigger you get as a business, the more you have to work. I think people sometimes think the bigger
you fill them roles, isn't you? You start needing like sort of managers in a way to look after the people, quote jobs, and And again, there's the thing is with it is it's this industry isn't easy. Like you need to kind of know what you're doing on the phone. Like so you've got to be a bit of a salesperson. Yeah.
Exactly. You have to have your sales, and then you need to have your management, and then in some industries, you can just be a great manager and be really good at your job, but you need to be technically sound. You need to know what you're doing, I think sometimes tradespeople don't get the credit that they deserve on how technically challenging some things are,
What would you sort of what's your sort of role day to day, like running the business?
Being a nuisance, to be honest with you, mate. I'm carnage, man. Yeah, me going in the office is like the worst thing because like I'll just see one thing that doesn't need to be. Like I'll see something on the floor that doesn't need to be there, or parts that haven't been sent back, and then my day's derailed. So I tend to now not go in there. I've got my own office, and I find I can be productive there, and then I can hyper focus on what I need to do and not get distractions. But mainly I price a lot of work still. So because of the different trades that I've learned in, let's say, my working career, for me to go to a job, I know what's going on with build, I know what's going on with electrics, plumbing and gas. I can kind of wipe out a few roles.
Are you scared? Because it's a big thing relying on someone pricing your jobs, isn't it?
People still do it, and a lot of the engineers take the notes, and then the office, have the parts, the labour times. But to scale, though, that's one of for me, probably one of the most challenging things, because if you don't get your prices correct, you lose money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How do you find the people?
The customers or the engineers? Yeah, we've got a great team. Yeah.
Like how do you? Yeah. So where?
Oh,
great. How do you find them in terms of you need another engineer? What's your?
Social media does a lot for that. To be honest with you, like even now, it's June, July, August. It's like I don't know. I look at business like a football team. It's like off season now, and it's like kind of when transfer window happens. So I've got engineers now already that I kind of want to start, but really I need to get a space for them, and then you've got to get a van set up, and
it's a lot of jobs. Like we said before, like for how many engineers you've got, that's a lot of jobs that have got to be coming in every day.
And listen, that's another thing, right? So that's a very good point. So we're currently a reactive business, right? So we have only ever been 2 weeks in advance. But that's been like that forever.
Do you know what though? But I think that works with a lot. I'm that as well. Like as this one man band, 2 weeks of it. I walk into a merchant and I hear people going, I've got booked up until Christmas, and I think to myself, do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's because it's reactive.
How can you say I'm going to be there? I'll see you in 6 months for a leak.
That's what I mean. It's majority of your work reactive.
It's all reactive. But now, recently, we've tendered and we've started to now really shift onto the commercial side of things. We've got PPM contracts for drainage, and we've got schools now. But it was always something I didn't really want to go into because the margin isn't there compared to what it is reactive. But then at the same time, when you're full reactive, you're always having to then naturally
feed the machine, isn't you?
Feed the beast,
That's another thing, pricing, like a lot of people get that wrong. Do you have because it's reactive, do you have set hourly rates?
We do, but again, obviously, if you've got estate agents or letting agents, they give you quantity, don't they?
He loves talking about money bits on here because it gets us engaged.
No, I'm just genuinely intrigued.
No, listen, it's good to talk about, isn't it?
It's good to know, because
different areas though. Naturally, they do change. You charge different things. What you charge in Scotland compared to say in Wimbledon would be different money.
Different
wages are different. Wages are different. House prices are different.
I'm glad you said Scotland because I see Andy Cam put a comment on the video, didn't he? Why you always mention us Northerners, comparing us Northerners?
Listen, people do charge different stuff. That's what I'm finding really strange at the minute with boilers though. Is some of these companies that are pricing without going to the job, and they're just pricing from photos and stuff. Sometimes they're losing money.
Yeah.
I seen one the other day. It was £1,800 plus the VAT for a Valent Ecotech Plus. And. Mate, when you work out the materials, there's no money in it.
What would you say minimum charges on a boiler install? Basic.
For what boiler?
Just say.
This is a good question. He's going to get the engagement now.
You got me thinking.
Sorry to all you.
Who's good cop? Who's bad cop? You two.
We keep going on about money. Well, it's him this week, isn't it? Yeah.
No, I'm just asking questions about
What
the business
boiler?
and generally. Ain't got to be a boiler, just a budget boiler. Like
So for something
Would
like a
you
glowworm,
charge the
option.
same labour?
it's a glowworm compact, like that as a combi, like say 24 kilowatt. That I don't know, something like 600 quid or something, and then you get the filter as well. So you probably could do a combi swap for 1600 quid plus the VAT, which is old money. Because you think 10 years ago, I remember having my first van, boiler supplied and fit from 995 plus the VAT.
Yeah, you can do it for that.
Crazy,
Like,
but you wouldn't be able to do that now.
No.
But then again, a Worcester Bosch 1000, 1800 pound plus the VAT probably you could do it for. But then you go up to an 8,000 or a 4,000 Worcester Bosch, and the price is catapult.
But does the labour price stay the same for the boiler install? So
He's smoking like you're going to get me in trouble,
when I
man.
was doing
No,
it.
but
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
like,
the thing. If you go and fit somebody's posh bathroom,
Yeah.
you're not going
But
to
there's
charge.
bathrooms and then there's bathrooms.
Exactly, but just say there's both straightforward bathrooms, but like the bathroom is like, I don't know, that bathroom is like 10 grand more than that bathroom suite.
my honest answer on that.
A lot of people say
You go first.
charge more.
My
for
honest answer on
expensive.
that, when I was fitting boilers, about being the same price for every one, I think it would waver.
I'm literally gritting my teeth going, what's he going to say? Go
No,
on.
I think it could waver between 100 and 200 quid. So it won't be the same.
What, to fit it?
Yeah, so
No, he means about
So-
price difference.
No,
Like,
the price difference. So he's saying, would you charge the
cheap boiler.
same labour?
So
job,
combi, yeah.
yeah, would you charge the same labour for fitting, say, like a Valent, like mega money new one, to like a fucking?
Oh no, it's the same labour.
It's the same labour.
Yeah, why would you care about what like? Listen, the same thing, right? Like some people want a Ferrari, like as a boiler. Other people like, I just want something that works because I have other things to pay for. 5 year, like let's say guarantees and stuff. I remember Valent giving me a 5-year warranty on an Ecotech Pro instead of a 1 year. This is years ago, and I was over the moon. I remember telling like my dad, like I can fit boilers with a 5-year warranty now. 5 years is still a long time, but then obviously some people want 10 years,
So
right?
you'd have a minimum, but I think, say if you got a cheaper boiler, you might just keep that couple of 100 quid on there and earn a couple of 100 quid more.
Yeah, but I don't think you can do that anymore. Honestly, like these companies that are pricing, like I don't know, Boxed were one of the first ones, right?
But then they bulk buy, didn't they?
But they still don't get it that much cheaper. Mate, listen, I'm a nuisance with merchants, man. Like, so I shop. I don't shop around, but I look around and how much boilers
They
are
ain't no
because
markup. They don't get no markup.
no, they don't. But then on the fittings they do, right? But then the thing is, labour can't go down, right? And materials have gone up so far now. I don't think now. I think the easiest way to just price now to win work is just price the materials correctly. Whacking a stupid amount of money on materials now, you just get found out.
Yeah.
Because everyone just knows you can go online and get a boiler price. Sent on videos.
Oh, well, that's the thing. People always ask me, "Oh, can you get the boiler cheaper?" And I go, "No, I can't get it cheaper than what you get it for." I said, "So you might as well order it because I want to stay below the VAT threshold." Do you know what I mean? I'm done. I'm really done with it. Do you know what I mean? I can't be asked.
I'm going to throw a question at Pete because
Grand.
he don't care. What do you think
change.
for a boiler change?
Grand.
Yeah, I think it's half that.
I want to make.
Yeah, I think it's
I
half
think it's
that.
£500, man.
To be
For a boiler
realistic,
change.
realistic-
Labour. No, I want
it's
to
very
make
hard
that.
to get 1,000. Realistically, 500-600 quid.
The thing is,
if
this
you're
is-
doing a boiler change and you're flashing it, if you're 2 days there and you're doing a boiler,
if you're doing that, then
and then you're doing a
No, but I
flash.
think it's a day. So I think, like, for instance, if I don't know about a one-man band, because a one-man band has less outgoings, right? But for a company of a certain size, that's kind of the minimum, I would imagine. Because if you've done the maths on what you're paying someone, even that £500 a day, you're not going to make enough money.
Yeah.
Because I think what should technically happen, I suppose, the person that you pay to do it would be a third, and then the business would get 2/3, because then other money goes towards advertising and van and fuel and insurance. But yeah, I mean,
So what are you saying? So what are you saying?
I reckon it's 500 for a swap.
500.
And that's what, from what I can see from the algorithm of what prices are, that's what they're working on. But they're going on volume. So they're going on quantity. Because some of them, they're not making money. But then they've got all these salespeople in offices just bang, bang,
Do you think that's around the right amount to charge, around 500 quid?
No, I don't think that's probably the right amount
you're saying...
But I think at the moment, that's kind of, from what I see...
Well, the big companies are doing it.
Yeah, but these big companies, they're wiping a lot of
that's what
boilers
that's
out.
What I'm saying.
A lot of boiler installation companies out.
Yeah, confirm that then. You're not saying 500 quid, because people might think you've just said,
No, I'm not saying £500.
Yeah.
But I think for me at the minute, if I looked at what... Listen... How everyone sees it in their own eyes is different at different times, right? So a one-man band, if he can go and charge whatever he needs to charge for a day, that's up to them, isn't it? But I think if you're going to be a certain size business pricing boilers all the time, that's what I think some of these companies that are
charging.
British Gas to
so
charge,
I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Again, it's down to your own means. You live in
But from what I can see, like for these internet companies, when you go on somewhere and you go, that's how much it is. And that's the boiler, that's the flue, that's controls. That's what I'm kind of working out the labour at from what I've seen recently. And sometimes they're not making money.
My mate owns an estate agent. I even asked him the other month. I used to do work for him. Bloody nightmare. Always.
Can I hear a plane or something here?
Yeah. Is that Robbie's vibrator? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he's getting boiler installs for like 1,200 quid. Because they're buying a budget boiler and getting paid cash 300 quid, and and it's crazy, isn't it?
But my answer though is that's not the labour rate, because obviously, like you say, also to do a proper job with it and to flush it correctly. And nowadays with the manufacturers anyway, the warranties that they give out, if it has got a water content problem, then
listen, 18 years. There's some companies out there giving 18 fucking years warranty.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
12, 15 years.
I don't know. I've never seen 18 years.
ATAG.
Oh, really?
ATAG.
Yeah, they won't disclose their prices either, will they? You can't find out what their prices are.
Just ask ChatGPT. I'm sure it'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll look at it later in private. But what boiler company, even after 10 years, what boiler company is going to really... Worcester are pretty good on warranties. But what boiler company after like 9 years are going to come in and you're going to say, oh, that's a warranty part, and they're going to go, yes, we'll change that for a brand new part. Right.
I've think sometimes recently some of the engineers, the first thing they want to do is see if it has been power flushed, and then if it hasn't, they try and invalidate it, man.
Yeah.
And for servicing as well.
Care, though.
What, as in
they
what
come
way?
out and fix the boiler, they don't really check. They just...
Worcester are pretty good. Worcester engineers pretty good when it comes to like a warranty call. I've heard that they're pretty good. They don't so Ideal. My mate.
I love the fact that everything's my mate. It's good, man.
My mate. Right.
Down the pub.
Dangerous.
I didn't think he was right.
He got a warranty call out once for a brand new boiler, and they went, "No, it's not to warranty." He went, "Why is that?" He went, "Because that flue bracket's 1,100, like that." And he said, "All right, it's meant to be 1,000, but what the fuck's that got to do with the inner workings of the boiler? Like it's some mechanics of the boiler." And they wouldn't change it. And also another mate of mine, Dodgy Derek, right? Yeah. he they used to have like the pressure reliefs.
Yeah.
So he soldered it instead of putting a compression joint on it. Went wrong on the day of install, and they went, "Yeah, the warranty's invalidated because you've soldered the pressure relief." And he went, "All right, I'll change it to a compression." He went, "No,
too late." Yeah. That's kind of like the computer said no, isn't it?
Yeah. I was like, fucking hell. And that sort of like, for me, that was a couple of stories I heard about that company, and I was thinking...
Do you know what, though? All jokes aside, I do really love being, like, within the trade industry.
It's a cool industry, yeah. The people in it, it's good.
Yeah, I don't know what I would probably do if I didn't do what I've done now.
You'd be a TV presenter, wouldn't you? What you're doing now, eh?
Maybe radio. I've got a face for radio, innit?
No, but you got your own podcast, didn't you? You're doing
mate,
you're doing a couple
so
bits.
That what we're doing there, eventually is going to do like courses.
Right.
Not can't disclose too much because it's top secret, mate. But no, it's going to be good. Not fully ready yet. Like a lot, it takes a long time to get prepared, right? But I like to talk anyway. So podcasts have always been something that I'm interested in.
Something different, and it breaks up the week.
Yeah. And if you can get something out of a podcast, amazing. I wouldn't say it's something that I take too seriously. It's just a chat, isn't it? And if I do ever put my foot in it, I'll take my foot out of it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's good freedom of speech, isn't it, man?
Yeah. Do you try and give yourself a lot of free time? You obviously said your mum passed away. Like, since then, you've valued time more. Do you switch off at a certain time? It's hard to switch off when you're running the business. Your mind's always thinking, like, but do you try and just work certain hours and just give yourself a bit of free time, or are you just still...
So, when I did lose my mum, I spent like a year with my dad, like looking after him really, and I gained a bit of weight, like quite a bit, 3 stone maybe. So then at Christmas, let's say 2 years ago, I just went for a run one day, and I was rough over Christmas. Went for a run, and then I kind of got a bit more into fitness, right? And I think now, as I'm getting older, I realise that actual exercise makes people feel so much better. Just going for a run or a walk or a swim or a cycle, you don't ever want to do it, right? But once you're there and you got it done, you feel so much better about yourself afterwards. It obviously gives out endorphins and stuff. So my free time now is I go to the gym quite early, like 6. That was my ankle there. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Is that what that was?
Yeah. But I go to the gym about 6, and then by 7 o'clock, I'm fully awake and I compartmentalize everything that I'm doing that day. So that's my free time at the minute. But with children, I just report to duty all the time. Where my missus works with me as well, she's also spinning plates. So the pair of us are just, we're very...
Wait till they get older. Start going.
Well, then it's over to them, man, isn't it?
Do you try and stop at like 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock?
No.
But like the way you're just sitting down.
But I wouldn't want to anyway. So it's like, when you're being bored's horrible. Like my dad, bless him, he's retired now. He was a London taxi driver, but he's got polio. But he done well for himself. Like to be a cab driver, he could have probably just been on benefits, but he didn't. Went and done a good career, and he's bored, man. And like when I ring him and stuff, I'm like, "What are you up to?" Nothing. I've got nothing to do today. I can feel it in him how just people need purpose.
Purpose.
You know what I mean? So like now I kind of understand that a bit more. That we can all moan because we're too busy, but then we can all moan because we're too quiet, right? But it's very hard to just live in the moment and not worry about the future or the past, and just actually know, fuck it, we're here, innit? And life's not very long anyway, is it? It's short, man.
Not really. I was thinking about this before you come in. I thought, fucking hell, it's only 25 years until I'm 70, for fuck's sake.
What does that make you then? How old are you?
Well, I'm 46 next week, but 71, 25 years. It's not long, is it?
That's why you've got to enjoy it.
Because I remember 25 years ago, because 25 years ago is when I started in the fucking trade. So it ain't that long.
What made you become plumber then? Or am I allowed to say that? Or should I say, what made you become a gas engineer?
No, I'm a plumber, mate. I think...
he's a snob. He only wants to be called a gas engineer.
Did you do plumbing first?
No, I started in the gas industry.
What, British Gas?
No, I was flat bashing. I worked as like a central heating installer. So I was basically... at a loose end, didn't really know what to do, done some shit jobs coming out of school. And my dad turned around to me and said, you need to get a trade. And I did not know what he meant by a trade. Do you know what I mean?
Good advice though, isn't it? To anyone, even watching this, if you're 16, get a trade, man. You can always fall back on it.
Get a trade, start doing these tin pot jobs, go and get a trade. And anyway, I played a lot of football, and one of my mates was a heating engineer, flat bash, and he said, and I'd quit a job, and he went, you out of work at the moment? I went, yeah. He goes, well, we need someone to come along with us, like just hanging rads and piping them up, and like, do you know what I mean? Got into it and just started from there, and it just progressed. I stayed with that company, subbing off them for like, I don't know how many years it was, like maybe 10 years or something like that, on and off, always. But doing just things like flat bashing, So your knowledge was very limited. So you knew how to do that job. You knew how to fit a basic bathroom. You know how to do this. No breakdown work, nothing really like that. And then they run out of work for me, like during, well, how long ago? So it must be like 15 years ago. Ran out of work for me, and I found I'd already started advertising because the plan was I just getting married, starting to make a family. I wanted to work for myself, and I was like, my missus at the time, she had like an advertising magazine where I just stuck it in there for free, and I started getting a few calls. Word of mouth at the time was really big. If you had a good name for yourself, or people knew you as a plumber, it would spread. Like, especially
Word of mouth is the best,
especially in a small village. Do you know what I mean?
Where was the village?
Ongar, where I live.
I still don't know where that place is. What? That
Near
sound like
Brentwood.
someone on holiday.
Near Brentwood.
How you been, mate? You look like you've had a nice holiday. Yeah, mate. You've just been for a week in Ongar.
In Ongar, it's lovely out there. Sunny Ongar, it's beautiful. So I started like that, and literally the week that they let me go, I picked up my first job. So, and then it sort of just like it just carried on. And then what you'll find is when you're in a small community and you've worked with just shitloads of plumbers in my community, so you end up filling in with them, asking them for a bit of work. They'll bung you a bit, and then you help each other out, as we do now. We even still do it now. Like my mate Alan, he'll ask me to help him out. He might get me in on a job, vice versa, and then mate John, he'll get me in a job, or like I'll ask him to work.
And listen, I respect that. I love it.
That's worked well through the Instagram community, because people will always bung you up. That's one good thing. Even though my Instagram is full of like it's a nonsense, bollocks, comedy, whatever you want to call it, the basis of it is from a plumbing community, and a lot of people know us, and a lot of people we've rubbed shoulders with. Yeah. So you can bounce off of people within it. Of course, and man. It's a really good. Like the plumbing community, to be fair, is probably, I think it's the best one out of all the trades communities. Yeah. Well, I'm going to say
that's why they're all coming to install the show, the other trades.
What about the Twitter was before?
I was on that at first. That's how it started.
That's the original, yeah.
But fuck me, was it toxic?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It was horrendous.
Hard work.
Yeah.
Thing is, mate, like, so how do I say? I was kind of going with it, and then you had to fucking be on there all the time.
What, Twitter?
Yeah, man. Like also, it's hard to see a message.
I still don't know how it works.
It's just
I don't know how Snapchat works.
I started, my mate got me in it, and I started posting. All I see was people posting jobs. I mean, what I'll do is I'll post some shiny pipes. Do you know what I mean? And you do a little write up to it and all that. That was before Instagram. And
but listen, again though, it's like fair play to anyone that can, edit their own videos and stuff like that, because that takes time.
It did in the old days. It don't really now. You can. With what I do, it's not hard, but I appreciate the work videos. I see, because them ones can take time, and see people doing all these they're doing these time lapses, and they're cutting to different.
Because they've now found another career within a career.
Yeah.
How many tradespeople now are so good at editing videos?
Yeah. But the software out there is easy to use. They make it quite user friendly, don't they?
It's got. I think recently it's become a bit.
It's very user friendly. You can make every video I've made has been on my phone. It's like with the CapCut. Yeah, it's just so easy to do, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's a lot of people go, I love it, but people go, I don't know how you get that much time to, and I go, I don't really do it.
No, but it's about people. If you can concentrate, and not everyone can do it.
But there are some people who will work that, like, they'll do. This is what I don't quite agree with, is where they'll charge it, and let's say like a fucking 400 quid a day for a plumber, right? It's a day rate. Now, if somebody come around my house to fit a boiler, and they were charging me £400 a day, and they were setting up fucking cameras and this, that, and the other, I'd be thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on here? How much time?
Yeah, some customers like it as well, though, because they know it's a showpiece, which means they're going to get a good job done.
If they've got you from Insta, and they know what you're about, fair enough. But if you're turning up round Doris's house, do you know what I mean, or whatever, and you're charging her 400 quid a day, but you're taking more time than really what it should, then I think that's a little bit, do you know what I mean? I think you've got to be straight up with people, wouldn't you? Instead of, whereas me, I don't get into that, but I know a lot of videos, people take some time.
Talking of videos.
Some people put stuff together and then take it apart to reshoot on the actual thing. I just get on with it, and that's why a lot of my stuff is just raw. It's just this is what I've done. This is it.
The video you done, I remember seeing it when the geezer was out the window, and I think it was like you were like, "Are you taking the rubbish?" And then like you were like at a scrap or something, and then. I think it was you versus you, and you were like, "Yeah, are you going? Oh, should we take the rubbish?" Because that was a good video. I can't remember it.
The scrap one, that was a case of that was Mum's scrap hack, like or the hack.
Geese was out the window.
Waste hack, yeah.
Yeah. So
there's two guys talking, weren't they? And there's like, how do we get rid of because nobody wants to take old radiators, do they?
Yeah.
In this case, right. So talk. He's in there. So you go, what we'd do, we'd take the radiators, and we'll sell them on eBay. We'll get a few quid for them, making sure he had. And he pops in, was that you?
Yeah. I like that.
I'll take the radiators. And then he goes
How long
back
ago
in.
was that video then?
That was like fucking year and a half.
I feel like it was longer.
Might have been a couple of years ago. But and then the joke is at the end, the apprentice goes, "Do you want to take the copper too?"
Yeah.
But they're just like all spare time things. You know what I mean? I can knock them videos up in 20 minutes and just put them out. So, but
that's the thing. It's different forms of editing, right? You know, there's I suppose short form, long form, and some people edit it to perfection. Other people just
YouTube's
reload and go, man.
YouTube's, I know people 3, 4, 5 hours like editing a
It is a career though, isn't it? If they're making, and let's face it, right? From a business of a certain size, I'm saying it's so expensive to get leads and work through the door. So if you can showcase your own stuff, and you don't have to run around, keep getting work, and then you're editing your own stuff, that's basically your self-advertising. And if you're going to get paid out of that advertising, it can't be a negative. Mate, you have a lovely relationship with your daughter there, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they're difficult at times, girls, but they're difficult. But
there's a thing though, when you have a daughter, man, it changes you. With my boy, I was mate, with the girl, like fucking melt your heart, man.
They do. They do. I wouldn't change it. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people say to you, they go, but you wish you had boys. And do you know what? I wouldn't swap my girls for boys. Girls are lovely. They'll always be your babies.
Are we keeping this bit out? Just so Robbie knows.
I don't know.
Keep it in.
In natural chat.
Keep it in.
But
this is real fucking talk,
natural.
man, isn't it?
No, but
behind the scenes, sometimes.
But they're your babies, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? But
how old are they?
14, 13, and 11.
Fuck me, you were busy then, weren't you? That's the same age gap as mine.
Wow. Yeah. Get ready for that. Yeah. It's but it's brilliant. Do you know, obviously, me and my ex are separated, but I've still got a good close relationship with my kids.
Do you live with them?
No, unfortunately, no. Divorce is horrible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish it upon anyone.
No,
it is.
I've seen that though, with like how you then have to navigate through work whilst that.
That's the thing. So I take them to school 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Not today because I've had to shift it. So tomorrow I'm taking them Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, sort of thing. And then if I can pick them up in the afternoon, I will. Either that or they get the bus. I see them every other weekend, from Friday to Sunday, or sometimes Monday. It's hard though. It is hard. So when you go from seeing them every night and then not, that's hard.
Yeah, I fucking can imagine, man.
I never ever could have pictured it ever happening, like sort of thing, not being able to say night to your kids every night, and that fucking hurts, that gets a lot of people. And I think the shit that I went through, and I won't go into too much detail, but things are messy. Do you know what I mean? I think that's hardened me up. Do you know what I mean? To like things that ordinarily would have got me, but nothing can't go through lack of seeing your kids. If you haven't seen, there was a period where I didn't see them for like 7-8 weeks because of things that shouldn't have happened. Yeah, not my side, but things that shouldn't have been said. Blah blah blah. I'm not going on too personal. You know what it's like, relationships, and that ruined me. Like, absolutely.
And then
ruined.
you've got to get up the next day for work and pretend you're fucking all right, innit?
Yeah. You're trying to like keep your head on and you're trying to phone them. You want to get through to them, but for whatever reason they don't want to speak to you. Yeah, it's hard.
And then you've got to try and concentrate at work when really you ain't fucking there
mate,
anyway.
you're not there in it,
Yeah,
mate. You're not there in it. There was times that I turned up here and I was outside fucking bawling my eyes out, mate. I'll tell you that now. It fucking ruined me.
Yeah.
And like now, nothing can ever get near that. Nothing can never get any near that where you don't see your kids. I know there's some dads out there who couldn't give a fuck when they leave, and they'll give minimum amount to their ex. Do you know what I mean? Just because they can pay themselves so much money and get away with it. And I think to myself, you're not doing that to your ex. You're doing that to your kids. You're starving your kids for the sake of not wanting to give money out, paying. You have a kid, you got to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? You've got to pay and provide for that kid. All right, there are some blokes out there who are fucking can only afford minimum amount. I get that, but people are trying to duck it. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, though, look, this conversation is one of the conversations that people fucking probably want to hear from advice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's things like this where, you know, maybe that when you go through, you know, a divorce or a loss of a family member or something like that, that's when you need to then have another look at what you're doing in your life. They say you change every 7 years anyway, and that's when it's okay to be self-employed, to then go back to employment. Or other times when you're employed and you go, okay, I'm going to take the leap of faith and go into the right direction that I believe in. There's certain times it's okay to go back and forth. There's no right or wrong.
I mean, I take nothing away from my ex because I've always said that she was a fantastic mum. Do you know what I mean? She always brought them up right. My kids are polite. They've got good values. Do you know what I mean? They're not. I mean, but in between that, where you two are going at it or whatever, and on the side, like away from it, out of like the house battles and stuff, and things can get misconstrued and things said to each other, which, to be honest, it don't do the kids any good. Do you know what I mean? None of that. They shouldn't be seeing like rows and things like that. So it's a delicate situation, and I would not, like I say, I'd never ever wish divorce on anyone, because you obviously go from the family home as the father. That's a norm, yeah? And then obviously you've got to find money for your own roof. You've then got to find money for your kids. And then at the same time, you've got to entwine your work life to balance with the kids and seeing the kids at awkward times and stuff like that, and having to put yourself out. Like me, it's what I said before, if I'm getting on at site at 9:30, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, you know it's like...
We have engineers, though, like that, like now, they good guys, one of them weirdly came back, last week was his first week back, and he worked for me 10 years ago, and he just had a child at the time, and he was a young dad, and you know he just couldn't stay on the job, right? So weirdly, it's fucking, pardon the pun, but it's off the job podcast, So, but he couldn't stay on the job, and then basically couldn't do the hours that we needed him to do, and now he's back again. But 3 times a week now. 3 days a week, he does the same. Starts at a certain time, and then finishes at a certain time. Mate, it's life, innit, man? Like
you have to adapt. You have to adapt, and like I say, if you work for yourself, then you've got to think all that organisation, and then trying to run jobs. Because by the time you get on a job at 9:30, you're not starting there till gone 10, and when 10 o'clock comes, a couple of hours when you just start getting into that job is then lunchtime, and we know at lunchtime, the second half of the afternoon, that's gone. It's really
my mate's
hard.
going through it at the minute, like going to call, like she's trying to
It's so
stop him
tough,
seeing
man.
the kids,
Yeah.
only out of spite. You're
It's
affecting
so-
the
it's
kids
so
just
wrong.
because you want to get at him. Like it's the kids that are suffering, not.
It is wrong.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like the other day I was playing football in Wales, man, and it's like so many times you hear these stories where men and they're fucking just gone, ain't they, without actually realising, and just that's why it's good to talk.
Yeah,
so podcasts are amazing for it, man. But like I say, with it, like with with men, it's good to fucking talk, man. The more you talk about it, you end up feeling a little better, I think.
You got to, but the thing is, when they're in that dark place, when people are in that dark place, a lot of it ain't. We can check in on them. Do you know what I mean? We can check in on them. We can say we're there. Do you know what I mean? And we're gonna do this, that, and the other. But when people's minds are made up,
it's hard to stop. Yeah.
It's a true saying. They could be. You hear this saying probably a lot. They could be in that room. Yeah, a busy room of people, and they're talking, chatting, but they're still the loneliest person in the world. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing, and it's horrible. And especially within the trades industry. Do you know what I mean?
Because the thing is, it's
stressful. It's a lonely job. Man. It's stressful, and it's like
So part of the stuff that I was saying about with the courses, right? A lot of the courses that we're doing is for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it genuinely is. Like, so I want to start, I live on a farm and I want to start like retreats and stuff, like to get people together, which is great what you're doing, you know, with the paintballing.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Like, because it's the camping thing afterwards where you get people bonding.
Yeah.
And that's nice, man. Because you surround yourself with similar...
different environment,
Yeah, with similar people, like-minded. And that's when you can actually talk to people and go, are you experiencing that? Oh, I'm experiencing that. Like, you know, so that's one thing that we're going to try and do it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a good thing to do in the trades, because nothing really out there for tradespeople that can just go and... There is, but like that's a cool concept, like retreats for trades. Just go and talk,
and then you can level up as well. So it's like, and part of it is like what we'd do is we'd have like comedy nights on, like, and have like, you know, singers and stuff. So you'd have the social aspect of it, but like all of these questions that people ask, like how did you do this or where did you do that? We're all asking the same questions, but the answers aren't crystal clear, are they?
No.
You know what I mean? So, for instance, don't get me wrong. I know there are business coaches out there and stuff that will sign you up for this per month and blah, 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 blah. Maybe that will work for some people, but some people might also be shy or nervous to sign up to stuff like that. But I mean, like, well, obviously, with that, mate, obviously, if you ever need a buzz me, man,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cheers, man. Yeah, I think that like you say, everyone checks in every now and then on people, don't they? You know what I mean? And you do, but then at the same time, everyone's busy.
Yeah.
Everyone is busy, and you've got your own lives, and you get busier as life. It's just like when we'll wrap it up in a minute, Kill. Don't worry about it.
just look because we're doing.
He was flexing his muscle there, mate. You weren't looking at his watch, boy.
But as you get older, right, and as you get more kids, like we've all got our close friends network,
yeah.
But as you get older, my best mates, I don't see from maybe year to year, because everyone's got their own life. Everyone might be going for a divorce. He might be doing his bit. You then got your own kids. We're doing, obviously, I'm doing lots on the social thing. We're doing this. We're travelling places. We're doing the comedy. It's busy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The comedy's tough as well. The late evenings and that, man.
It is tough. But everyone's got their own thing, and you know, getting a group together of blokes our age to say like, right, we're going to meet up on this. Not everyone makes it. You get like 6 of you. Probably like 4 of you can only make it. 2 of the others can't make it.
And that's hard as well when people
so
let you down.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Really hard.
So, but yeah, it's a tough old world. But we did plod along.
We carry on, don't we?
We
just
carry on,
going,
and we just keep
and that's
going.
why, like, genuinely, I don't think being employed or being self-employed I don't think there's a right way.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. And even like prices, this, that, and the other. As long as
you want,
as long as people are happy, and people have to be kind to themselves, man.
And I think what we should do as a podcast as well is like maybe keep that bit in. I don't want to digress the information, but it's relevant. But if we have got people out there struggling, right? Then maybe DM the podcast. Do you know what I mean? Have a vent to the podcast, or if there's anything we can help you with, or because sometimes you just need to vent and tell somebody you don't know, don't you? We're not going to air it, but we need some sort of thing where somebody can say, "I'm struggling at the moment." I noticed it the other day. Someone trolled me on socials, and it was a case of, I know why that guy's done it. I know why he's called me a cock or whatever, or sit down, you boring prick, whatever. And I sort of like could sense from it that there was a problem. And he DM'd me because I replied to him in the comments saying, oh, he's obviously struggling. He replied to me in the comments, he said, mate, I'm struggling. I'm really sorry about the comment I've done. He goes, I'm just finding it hard at the moment. We're waiting 6-7 days a week. I went, mate, I could see it. I said, if you want to chat, just DM me. If you want to vent, whatever, just do it, because we all, like you say, we all need to talk, and sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger or someone you don't know, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hence why there's counsellors and stuff like that.
But the thing is, the counsellors though, like I don't know if there is, I don't know if that was the right word I said there, but I don't know if there is actually this in the trade industry, right? So everyone has had their problems. So if someone can go, okay, well that's my problems. If anyone helped with that. Like, let's say, for instance, like to mention Daryl. Daryl wouldn't mind me saying this. So if anyone wanted to give up alcohol, he's the man that's already doing it, right? And there's other people like, when I was younger, had no problems, and it was only until I lost my mum that I was like, fuck, man. Like when you like, and then like having to then care for your other parent, and then your parents are always your heroes, and then when they're suddenly not the people that
I'm doing
used to be.
I'm doing it for my mum at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's tough, man.
Yeah, it's
tough. See, like another thing I was going to quickly mention, right? So one of the ideas that I want to do is I want to set up a positive radio show, or it could be a positive podcast show, because it's very easy for people to just talk negative, right? And that's like one of the things with work. I just fucking go with the flow. I can handle turbulence. I don't really give I don't worry that much about the bigger things in life. I worry more about the smaller things.
Yeah,
you know
the big
I mean?
things don't matter.
I was saying, like, even if touch wood there never would be, but if there was a war, I would probably want to go to work because it would just keep me busy in my own little brain. You know what I mean? And I don't watch the news or anything because the majority of the time I put the news on, it's depressing. So I want to do positive news.
Mad. I don't know if it was the board builders. They see a quote or something from some Buddhist monk or something or other, and they said, like, if you all these problems you got at the moment. Yeah, you got all these little problems.
I feel like you're going to say something that I'm going to like, man.
Yeah, but you got all these little problems, going on, and you're worried and this, that, and the other. But all of a sudden, if you was in hospital and you was fighting for your life, the one thing that would be important would just be to survive. And all them other little problems, the bills,
they're
this,
not
that.
real. Yeah. Look, I've got a new toe the other day, man. It's a Buddhist chilling, mate.
Hey. Sweet, I like that. It's nice. But in the main. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, mate, listen, what I'm saying though, but the thing is though, this is why you just gotta fucking live in the present, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if you've only got 2 weeks work in front of us. Like Bob Marley said, every little thing would be alright, yeah?
Right, we'll call it
a good conversation.
Yeah, it's good, man.
We normally ask sort of what's the plans going forward, but you sort of shared your plans.
I thought you were going to turn up with your own cameraman today. Start sticking.
He's in the van. I left him in the van.
He got when he was at installer, he had his not installer on the tools, wasn't it? Yeah. He had to like doing your interview.
Always, mate. Always.
He's in the lift with my. He come in the lift. Beth was in there with us. She went, "Don't put that camera in my face." But no, mate. Right, thanks, mate.
I appreciate you.
It's been a good conversation. Cheers.
Now, if you guys are gonna have to come to the, we have to do a reverse fiction.
Yeah, definitely.
Wicked, man. I feel like we've got on to something here that we need to go back onto, man.
Yeah.
We'll do a live show again, but what we'll do is we'll do it to try and help some people that may want some help, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Cheers. Join us in the next one.
Cool. Au revoir.